Exodus. My name is Todd Wellman, and this is the chaplaincy class regards to the Old Testament, specifically Exodus. So Exodus is the historical facts. I don't like using story. It's historical facts about God leading his people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. We see in Exodus chapter 1 that Pharaoh oppresses God's people, the Israelites. In fact, the oppression is so much that God hears the Israelites' prayers and he sends Moses to bring them out of Egypt. So Moses, the history on Moses, he was raised by the Pharaoh's daughter as an adopted son after being placed in a floating basket by his mother to prevent from the mandate by Pharaoh to kill all newborn children of Israel to decrease the population, and to kill them by placing them in the Nile. So Moses' mother did place Moses in the Nile. She just placed him in a basket to float down the Nile, and that basket is pushed and moved all the way by God to, guess who? Pharaoh's daughter. So Moses grows up as an Egyptian but finds out that he's in Hebrew. He ends up killing an Egyptian for beating a Hebrew and flees to Egypt, to Midian, to avoid being killed by Pharaoh. And then an amazing thing happened. God gets Moses' attention by speaking through a burning bush. Wouldn't that be nice? Is that if you're looking for an answer, looking for something, God would speak to you through a burning bush and know, like a phone right to God. But he does. He just does it in different ways. In fact, all your contacts with God, and as he speaks through or to you, will be in varied ways, and you learn things about God through those contacts. But anyway, God sends Moses to Egypt to free his people, the Israelites, and bring them to the promised land. So Moses goes to Egypt, and God's power is shown by signs, and then the signs aren't enough. Comes the plagues. It took 10 plagues, 10, before Pharaoh let the Israelites go. The final plague was, of course, the worst, and it was the death to the firstborn. However, God had the Israelites paint the windows and doors with the blood of a perfect lamb, which later we find out, represents Jesus Christ, the perfect lamb, innocent blood. Anyway, they took and painted the windows and doors with that blood, so that their firstborn would not die, as directed by God through Moses. Now this is known as the Passover, as we know it today, where God spared the Israelites, and the messenger of death passed over them and saved them. And they were saved by God. God also, as they finally, so Pharaoh goes, I had enough, get out of here, I don't want to see you again, and they head out and they take all of their belongings and parts of Pharaoh's and hit the people of Egypt's belongings, and they head towards the promised land. And Pharaoh freaks out and decides, well, I'm going to chase them down and I'm going to kill them or bring them back because I'm done. But God, of course, puts a protection between Israel and Pharaoh. He parts the Red Sea. They cross it. Pharaoh's chasing them after. All of a sudden, and now comes the Red Sea upon them. And, of course, the Israelites are saved. Now, God did many more miracles and also fed and gave water to the Israelites. Even with all that they saw, they still did not trust the Lord. And because of this wickedness, many died over the 40 years that they spent in the desert. God gave, of course, also in Exodus, God gave the Israelites the 10 Commandments through Moses on the Mount Sinai, and then Mosaic law was established. In chapter 26, we see the tabernacle being designed and built where offerings took place. And it is the design that God that set, and it was very, very specific, right down to the garments, the carvings, the size, everything. And then we see the Ark of the Covenant being built, which held the 10 Commandments. And then finally in Exodus 40 is concluded with the cloud of the Lord descending down upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was in it by night.